Hello everybody, good evening. Welcome to Office Agenda 247. Today we will be discussing the 27th session of IIFS RAFTAAR Series. Now the exam everybody knows is on the 4th of May and we have limited amount of time right now where you should focus is on practicing MCQs. Along with that, revising whatever you have already studied. That should be the approach, and this particular series will help you to jot down the most important points. Along with that, what type of questions can be asked. So let's get started. Today we will be discussing about simple topics, but the questions, the level of questions will be enhanced. Fine, that's the thing which IIBF also is doing in the previous cycles. So we will try that most of the questions which you are reading right now or you are solving in this particular session, they will be of tough level, but the basics should be very clear after you have attended the questions. That is the sole agenda of this particular session. So let's start with the first question, which talks about the India's contribution towards global GDP. Okay, quickly just tell me whether one second. Yes, everything is fine now. Okay. So, which of the following statements accurately reflects India's contribution to global GDP over the centuries? So, the first topic of your book 1.1 that states about the Angus Madison database, the economist Angus Madison, who just you can say analyzed the data from 1000 AD till the 17th 18th century and gave a database as a benchmark for all the you can say economies across the globe to compare themselves with the other countries. Fine, other countries GDP, other countries purchasing power parity. Fine. So what will be the right answer in this particular question? Let's see statement wise. First statement says that India's share of global GDP has steadily increased from 1000 AD to the present day. It has steadily increased. Okay. So although in 1000 AD till 1600 AD, you will see the graph of economic growth in an upward trend. But after that, once the economic plunder by the Britishers will happen, you will see a slump in the economic growth. So first statement is wrong. Second one, in 1600 AD, India's contribution to global GDP was significantly higher than that of China. Do you think so that it is a correct statement? Because what we have read, studied in the classes, it is that in 1600 AD, China as well as India clubbed together, they formed greater than 50% of the global GDP, and out of this 50%, more than 50%, China was having the maximum share. So again, this is a wrong statement. By 1820 AD, India's share of global GDP drastically declined compared to its share in 1700 AD. What happened in the 1820? What do you think? What was the reason, if at all there was a drastic decline? According to the IMF, India currently holds the largest share of global GDP in terms of PPP, fine, purchasing power parity. Do you think that this is the right statement, or India's rank in terms of PPP is something else as stated by the IMF? What will be the right answer here? Anybody? Quickly tell me, because this is relatively a simpler question as compared to the upcoming ones. So the right answer will be option C. Yes, that is the correct statement. Why? Because India's share fell from 24.4% in 1700 AD to 16.1% in 1820, and further it went down from this particular number, that is 16.1%, to, you can say, more downward trend was there. Okay. So after that, after 1820s, you will find 1850s, then 1890s, ultimately the economic plunder has started in India. Topic 1.1, the first topic of your syllabus of your book, this is a question from there only. Okay. And what is the rank of India when we talk about in terms of PPP, purchasing power parity? After USA and China, India's rank is third. This thing also you should remember. Okay, now a question based on the unorganized sector. A normal, you can say, very easy concept. Normally we think that it's a very easy concept, organized and unorganized sector. everybody knows the basic difference. But what about this question where a particular worker has been you can say, yes, we have factored in a particular worker or an employee for your unorganized sector. Read between the lines which says that not necessarily as working within the unorganized sector. Okay, take your time, 20-30 seconds, and do let me know what will be the right answer. Okay, so time's up. Let's solve the question. Which of the following scenarios best illustrates a worker who would be classified as informal but not necessarily as working within the unorganized sector? Informal worker, not necessarily in unorganized sector. Fine. So the question is asking you indirectly about what? The organized sector, not necessarily in the unorganized sector. That's how you should read between the lines. According to the NCUS categorization. What is this NCUS categorization? Anybody can tell me NCUS categorization, what is it? It is from your book only. Fine. Normally we tend to ignore such categorization, but yes, it is mentioned in the book. So first statement says construction worker employed by a small unregistered contractor with a team of 5 laborers lacking any formal contract and social security benefit. So directly I can say that this one is working in unorganized sector. Fine. No social security benefit, no formal contract, nothing is there. Unorganized sector we are talking about. But what we have to do is not necessarily working within unorganized sector. So we have to identify that which one of these employees which are mentioned in these 4 statements will fall under the purview of the organized sector. Second statement, a self-employed street vendor operating without any government registration or formal business structure selling the goods on daily basis. So no government registration, nothing is going on. So what will be the answer here? And again, unorganized sector. A data entry operator working for a large publicly listed software company. Fine, publicly listed software company on contractual basis. So yes, informal, we are talking about the informal worker here because he or she is presently on contract without the access to company provided health insurance or retirement benefits. Right now, because the particular employee is on contract, so he or she is not getting any benefit from the company. This seems like an organized sector employee. Why? Because the company is publicly listed. Along with that, the company's size is also large, and software company we are talking about. D statement, a domestic worker employed in a private household with no written employment agreement and no contributions made towards the social security scheme. Again, unorganized sector. In the classes also, when we discuss this particular topic, the perfect example which we give is from the domestic workers. The house helps in our houses. Fine. So what will be the right answer? Option C will be the right answer because we have to select the best out of these 4. Best illustrates here. Okay, so organized sector is best illustrated here. Organized sector but informal, yes. Option C will be the right answer. Okay, here NCUS, again mentioned in the book only. The full form is National Commission for Enterprises in Unorganized Sector. So do you need to remember this? No, answer is no. Only thing which I wanted to convey via this question is that IIBF will confuse you with such, you can say, phrases, with such words, with such organizations. But do you need to remember everything? No. You must remember the concept. Unorganized sector versus organized sector. What is the keyword? What is the keyword? Government registration. Whether you are being registered with the government setup or not. Whether the social security benefits are being offered to you or not. Whether you are falling under the purview of informal worker or a formal worker. That's the another distinguishing factor which you must know. So all these basic things, if you know basic things, if they are clear in your mind, then you can easily solve such questions as well. This question can be categorized under 1 marker. Okay, for your reference, here it is written, the explanation. Okay. Next question, major concern and innovative suggestion of 8th 5-year plan. Again, everybody knows that what happened in 8th 5-year plan, the LPG reforms were there, fine, and what was the outcome, that you must know. Eighth 5-year plan. Quickly, only 10 to 15 seconds you must take for such type of question. 10 to 15 seconds. See, I want answers from everyone, fine. Whosoever is watching the session, let's have a discussion. Na? Let's have a discussion. Whatever doubts you have, do you think that there is some other answer as being stated in this compared to the answer which I am giving to you? Okay, once we discuss the things, then only clarity will come. And if you do not have any doubt and you actually know all the questions or most of the questions, then I would say job well done. Okay, 8th 5-year plan, major concern and innovative suggestion. So 8th 5-year plan is known for what? The economic reforms, and economic reforms in the form of LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization, globalization. So India accepted that particular model after the Washington Consensus. Okay, so first statement says to increase the role of the state in all the sectors of economy to combat inflation. All the sectors of economy to combat inflation. So if you are increasing the role of state, then how come privatization is happening? Fine, if you will increase the role of government, state means what? The government, the central government, that is government of India, then how you will ensure the process of privatization? It can't happen. Okay, so this is wrong statement. To shift towards market-based development in areas capable of attracting private investment. Market economy, shifting, or you can say tilting the economic growth towards the market-based development. Yes, that can be the answer if we are not having C and D as the right statement. Okay, we will mark it as one of the best answer among these two. To reduce the infrastructure investment, particularly in less developed states, to control the fiscal deficit. What is fiscal deficit? Fine, you might be knowing that revenue of the government is lower as compared to the expenditure. If somebody will say that okay, reduce the expenditure, then revenue part will be balanced out. Fine, the fiscal deficit will be lowered. Fine. So to reduce the infrastructure investment, you are reducing what? The influx. The government is reducing what? The expenditure in the less developed states to control the fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit will be controlled. That is okay. But do you think that in the less developed states, you should not involve yourself in the infrastructure investment? No, answer is clear cut no. Although the statement prima facie, this particular statement will feel that yes, this is the right answer. But is it a viable solution which was provided in the 8th 5-year plan or not? Answer is no. To increase non-plan expenditure and fiscal deficit to stimulate the economic growth. If you are increasing the non-plan expenditure, spending is increasing and fiscal deficit is also increasing, how can you ensure that the economic growth will be there in the economy? No, it cannot happen. D is also wrong. Correct answer will be your option B. Anuj is saying B. Yes, good job Anuj. B is the right answer. Okay. Even if you are not reading the entire statements, just focus on the keywords. 8th 5-year plan, the basic things you must know about 8th 5-year plan. It talked about what? The LPG reforms. And under LPG reforms, the major thing which was there in you can say economic reforms overall was the privatization. Privatization means what? The involvement of private players, market economy. So if market based development is going on and private investment is written in statement B, I'll just tick it and move on. Okay, so mostly it will take what, 5 to 10 seconds if my concepts are clear about the 8th 5-year plan. Okay, here you can see the major concerns and innovative suggestion. This is from your book only, 8th plan 1992 to 97. And market based we have seen, non-plan expenditure, fiscal deficit we have seen. Along with that, what you need to remember is this: special emphasis on cooperative federalism, that states should also be involved in the growth story of the country. Not only the central government, but the states should also be involved in the entire growth trajectory of the country. Stronger emphasis on agricultural and rural activities. Now this is important. Why? Because normally we think that 8th 5-year plan talks about what? LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization and globalization. So it will be talking about the private players, it will be talking about the foreign investors in globalization, and rules and regulation will be you can say limited in the particular process. But agricultural sector and other rural activities, these were also emphasized in the 8th 5-year plan. So emphasis was there in the primary sector as well, not only in the services sector but primary sector as well when we talk about the 8th 5-year plan. This you must remember. Okay, chances are there that question can be asked that whether agriculture and other activities were emphasized in the 8th 5-year plan or not. Yes, they were. Okay, this is the solution. Option B is the right answer. Next, deficit financing. The question is based on the deficit financing. What will be the right answer here? Deficit financing. When we talk about deficit financing, in which chapter we talk about deficit financing, and how come we know that this is a question based on deficit financing? Fine. Read the question very, very carefully. In the examination hall also, what you need to lay emphasis on is the question. If you are reading the question very, very carefully, chances are there that 70% of the job is done. Which of the following is a method by which government can finance its deficit? Fine, government can finance its deficit. Finance its deficit, deficit financing. The chapter is what? Economic planning. And under economic planning, the sources of finance, from where the government is funding these economic plans. Okay, so Anuj has again told the right answer. Borrowings which the government makes from the RBI. It is one of the part of deficit financing. And what are the other two parts? What will be the other two parts? That also I want to hear out from all of you. Other two parts, the second part will be again cash balances, the drawdown of cash balances from RBI. What is the third one? What will be the third one? Yes, Sandeep Bhoria, good job. C is the right answer for this question. Okay, RBI for two, you can say 2 points for RBI. What is the third one under the deficit financing? It is the borrowings from which government? The foreign governments. Fine. Okay. So for this question, answer is option C. Fine. Borrowing from the public as well as foreign governments is the third type of deficit financing under the deficit financing for the sources of economic planning. Fine. So there are three sources basically. One is deficit financing, and the second one is domestic budgetary sources. Third one is your foreign assistance. Fine. Option this one. Increasing tax rates on corporations and individuals. If you want to understand that where does this particular thing will fall, this will fall under the domestic budgetary sources. Fine. This is also one of the, you can say, measures via which the funding is raised by the government for economic planning. Domestic budgetary sources. Domestic budgetary sources, maximum you will have the money from the taxation system. Fine. Taxation system. And domestic budgetary sources forms the, you can say, highest contribution for the funding. Second is your deficit financing. Third one, the third source of funding, the highest if we rank them 1, 2, 3, Third one is your foreign assistance, which is provided by World Bank, specifically World Bank. Okay. Fine. Selling the shares of public sector undertakings to private entities. Again, disinvestment is happening. The government revenue will be there. Some part of government revenue will be there. Decreasing its overall expenditure on planned projects. Again, the you can say budgetary expenses are being held under your first, that is domestic budgetary sources. So only the third one talks about the deficit financing. Fine. These are the options, the explanation for these options, you can say. Fine. Okay. You can see for yourself that decreasing expenditure would reduce the deficit. We are talking about what? Union budget here. In the first statement also, we are talking about the indirectly about the taxation system, and B, selling the PSU shares, that is investment, disinvestment, not investment, privatization. Okay, this question everybody must answer, even if you are here after the session, after the live session has been conducted and you are watching the recorded format. I want everyone to answer this particular question by writing PSL, then what is the answer? Fine. PSL, priority sector lending, and what is the correct answer? Do let me know in the comment section also. A very important question for all of you. So the question talks about the priority sector lending targets for various categories of banks in India, and these targets are provided by the RBI. You have to identify the statement that is not an accurate representation of the specified PSL targets. Incorrect statement pertaining to the PSL. Simple, very, very simple. So there are what? 4 categorization of banks which is being done in the master guideline of RBI for PSL. The first one is domestic commercial banks, excluding the RRBs and SFBs, along with the foreign banks with more than 20 branches. Second one is foreign banks with less than 20 branches. Third one will be RRB. Fourth is your SFB, small finance banks. Okay. Okay, Sandeep Bhoria already answered as B. Okay, okay. PSL B. Okay. Anuj is also answering as B. Fine, fine, fine. Right, right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Both of you. The correct statement, correct option is option B, because foreign banks with less than 20 branches operating in India are not subject to the same PSL targets as RRBs across all the listed priority sectors. What are the targets for the foreign banks with less than 20 branches? Can you guys tell me? It was what? That overall 40%. What we have to remember for the examination, that's what I am telling you. Recently the PSL norms were also revised, but till December 2024 this was the update. 40% overall total priority sector lending should be done by the branches by the foreign banks with less than 20 branches. Out of this 40%, 32% can be towards the export credit, and the remaining 8% can go, should go, in fact not can go, should go towards the other 8 sectors. Fine, other 8 sectors. That is the only thing which is mentioned for the foreign banks with less than 20 branches in the RBI's master guideline. So it is not comparable to the obligations of RRBs. So this will be the right answer, because the question states that you have to select not an accurate. That is a wrong statement. So B is the wrong statement here. Okay, answer will be option B. Remember this. This is the table, fine, which I was talking about. 18% for your agriculture, then 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, then your advances to weaker section. Special mention to RRBs when we talk about advances to weaker section. Why? Because here 15% is the obligation as compared to the domestic commercial banks and your SFBs, where 12% each is the obligation. Okay. Startup India initiative. Startup India initiative. Module A only we are talking about right now, because there are specific topics in module A which you think that are very easy, but ultimately when the questions you try to solve, it becomes automatically difficult to handle. So try to do n number of mistakes in these sessions only, in these classes only, so that you are in a position, you are having that particular confidence which is required in the examination hall, the D day. Okay, so Anuj has already answered as B. Okay, okay. B is the right answer according to Anuj. What about others? What about others? We are talking about the Stand Up India initiative. Anuj, we are talking about the Startup India, not the Stand Up India, right? We are not talking about the Stand Up India scheme. We are specifically talking about the Startup India initiative. And you have to see the primary objective. What is the primary objective? Okay. Whether it is to exclusively focus on technology sector and promote its growth in tier 1 cities, focus only on technology sector and tier 1 cities. Second, to provide financial assistance specifically to women entrepreneurs and those belonging to SC/ST communities. Do you think that this is the right answer when we talk about the objective of Startup India? This is for what? This is the objective of Stand Up India. Okay, a very thin line between the two initiatives, but yes, you must remember. Okay, take this statement as the you can say additional knowledge or the distinguishing factor between your Stand Up India and Startup India from this particular session. C is to foster innovation, promote long-term economic growth, create large-scale employment opportunities across various sectors and cities, not only the tier 1 cities as mentioned in the option 1. Fine. So C looks like that C will be the right answer, but D statement states that to primarily streamline the process of establishing large-scale manufacturing units in rural areas. When does Startup India talks about the large-scale manufacturing units? Fine. Primarily, that also, that primary objective is to go for the large scale manufacturing units. No, correct answer will be option C, wherein we will see the large scale employment opportunities across various sectors and cities, plus innovation, along with that long term economic growth. That is the primary objective of your Startup India initiative. Okay, and when I talk about option B, fine, let me just tell you what is the right answer. Right answer is option C. But when we discuss the option, or you can say the statement which is written in option B, here we are talking about what? Which initiative? Stand Up India scheme. Fine, Stand Up India scheme. And in this particular Stand Up India scheme, what is the limit? What is the limit? Maximum limit and the lower limit. What is the limit when I talk about this particular scheme, Stand Up India? The maximum limit is what? Whether it is 1 crore, 5 crore, 10 crore, 15 crore, what is the maximum limit under the Stand Up India scheme? That also you must remember. And what is the minimum limit? Both these things you must remember. Anybody who wants to tell me? Okay, Startup India scheme, here you can see for yourself. Initiative. The initiative intends to create a robust environment for fostering innovation, promoting long-term economic growth and creating large-scale employment opportunities. Fine. Stand Up India scheme, when we talk about, the primary objective is to provide the business opportunities to women, to females, or the persons who are belonging to SC/ST category. Fine. A brilliant initiative of Government of India, and the range of loans should be between 10 lakh to 1 CR. 10 lakh to 1 CR. Good. Anuj has already answered the limit as well. Good job. Next question. Which of the following government schemes primarily focuses on organizing the traditional industries and artisans into clusters to enhance their marketability and skills? A very simple question. This is a very simple question. The option, the answer is in front of you only. Traditional industries, clusters. What will be the right answer? PMEGP, Sphurti, Aspire or NMCP? It will be what? Okay, so Sandeep Bhoria is saying that B will be the right answer. Excellent. Sphurti is the right answer. For traditional industries, you are doing what? You are creating clusters, you are imbibing the competition within them. Why? So that those business units will be profitable. Without competition in a healthy environment, in a healthy business environment, you cannot sustain. Fine. So B is the right answer. Good. Anuj has also answered B. Okay. So do not skip the explanation part also. That is also important. Once you have the time, do see that what is Aspire scheme, what do we mean by NMCP, only the keywords which I have already highlighted. Okay, PM Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission, PM ABHIM and ABDM. Very important in infrastructure chapter. If you talk about the social infrastructure, under that healthcare infrastructure, under that only one scheme if you want to remember, then this should be your target. Pradhan Mantri Abhim. Fine. PM Abhim Yojana, PM Abhim Mission, PM Abhim scheme, whatever you want to call it. What will be the right answer? There are basic two objectives of PM Abhim, if you are aware of the scheme. First one is to provide the robust health infrastructure across the country. Fine. And the robust health infrastructure will be provided via all the three levels: primary, secondary and tertiary sectors, levels, not the sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary levels across the country. So it will be a right statement, not the wrong. We have to select what? Incorrect statement. The ABDM, previously known as National Digital Health Mission, focuses on establishing the digital framework for integrated health records. Yes, this is right. Fine. ABDM, the main focus is on what? Combining the digital infrastructure of our country with the health infrastructure. That is what is written in the statement B. Option B, statement B, whatever you want to call it. C states that in the financial outlay of approximately rupees 64,180 crores for PM Abhim is intended to be utilized within a single fiscal year. What do you think? When the scheme was launched in 21-22, the government said that we will utilize the 64,180 crore in single fiscal year or not. Whether this particular number is correct, 64,180 crore, the initial funds which were earmarked for this particular scheme, this number is correct, but the spending time is not correct. Single fiscal year is not correct at all. 5-year spending was to be done using these funds. Okay, so C will be the wrong option here. Fine. Wrong statement and the correct answer. Fine. So C will be the correct answer because we have to select the incorrect statement. Okay. A, B and D are correct statement. Yes, yes, that is also an outcome of this particular session, that you should be able to eliminate. If you do not know, if you do not remember in the examination, I'll just try to eliminate. And Anuj has eliminated A, B and D because they are the correct statements. So simple, C will be the right answer. By that also you can answer. But do keep in mind that it is not for single fiscal year. PM Abhim mission, the earmarked funds for that particular mission was to be spent in 5 years. D statement, PM Abhim intends to strengthen the existing national health institutions and establish new ones to address the emerging illness. What emerging illness and why emerging illness? Because this particular program was revamped only after the COVID. Fine. So emerging illness, everything was included here. Okay, C is the right answer. Here you can also see, pause and see for yourself over the next 5 years. Okay. This is what? Yes. Again, a good question, I would say. By good, I don't mean that we have created a very, very good question. Good question means that it will test your knowledge as well as reading speed, as well as inference. What is the level of inference which you can make out of these statements? Okay, so the question is talking about the protectionist measures. Don't get confused with the fancy words. Which of the following statements best encapsulates the complex and potentially contradictory outcomes associated with protectionist measures implemented by government during economic or geopolitical crisis? Okay, that is what the inference which we will be making from this particular question will be what? That which of the following options best describe the protectionist measures? That is it. Okay, no need to think that what is the meaning of encapsulates. It means that it encompasses, but for our simplicity, for the sake of simplicity, we must use the keywords. Best example of protectionist measures or best definition of protectionist measure is provided where? A, B, C or D? That is the question. Okay. So first statement is saying that while protectionism invariably leads to long-term decline in overall economic growth, economic activity and job losses across all the sectors, its immediate impact is solely characterized by increased price for your domestic consumers. Do you think that this is the right statement? Protectionist measure, if a government is taking, then it will be okay with the inflation? No. Fine. Here it is written, increased price for the domestic consumer. So what they are trying to say in the statement 1, what they are trying to state in the statement 1 is that we are having inflation because of the protectionist measures. Do you think any government across the globe will take certain measures which will impact its own economy? Answer is no. Okay. Sandeep, don't pass this question. Let's just discuss. Fine. You will be able to solve this question, and such types of questions are being asked in the examination. These questions will take you across, you can say 50, 60, 70 range. Protectionist measures, although permitted under the specific WTO regulations to preserve national interest during crisis, primarily result in net loss of jobs across the economy, even though certain domestic industries might experience temporary relief from the foreign competition. Temporary relief. Okay, temporary relief. Do you think that temporary relief will be there from the foreign competitors, and whether it is a healthy practice or not? Just try to think, na. Protectionist measures, they are saying that net loss of job loss will also happen. So why does any government, it will try to bring these protectionist measures? No, nobody will try. No government will be interested in these measures, in these types of measures, or not? What do you think? Net loss of jobs is happening. Okay, still the government is implementing it. But again, it is better than statement 1. C statement says deglobalization, often triggered by widespread protectionism, is a reversible process that primarily affects the historical eras characterized by a collapse in economic trade, but has minimal relevance in the interconnected global economy of the present day. If you know the definition of deglobalization, what we talk about? The complete reversal of process of globalization. That is what is known as deglobalization. And here it is written that interconnectedness of global economy is intact in today's era, even if deglobalization is happening. How it is possible? Because interconnectedness of global economy is known as what? Globalization. And deglobalization is a complete reversal of that process. This is a contradictory statement. Directly just cross this one. D states that despite its aim to shield domestic producers and workers, protectionism utilizing tools like tariffs and quotas, import quotas, ultimately foster greater long-term competitiveness and innovation within the protected industries due to reduced external pressures. How can any industry survive if you are not having any competition? No competition is there at all. No foreign investor is there in your country. How are you going to sustain? Fine, keep the example of developing countries in your mind always. You will arrive at the right answer. This is again a wrong statement. Correct is option B, because we have to select the best out of these four. Okay, such type of question will be asked in the examination also, and you must be crystal clear with the concepts. Yes, it is lengthy, Anuj, it is lengthy, but again we must be in a position to solve such types of questions. They will give you 2 marks, but 1 mark to it will be a minimum thing to have from such type of question. 1 marker or 2 marker, that's the norm. Let's just assume that 1 mark is also there, but still 1 mark we will be you can say passing the threshold of 50 marks from such types of questions only, because 40 marks, 41, 42 marks, everybody will be able to do that. What you will have as a distinguishing factor from the others is the interpretation. If you can interpret it, okay, try to interpret. Okay, B is the right answer. This option captures the complexity, acknowledges the WTO allowance, the potential temporary benefits to some domestic industries, but correctly highlights the likely net job loss across the broader economy due to trade decline and impacts in the other sectors. Fine. Last question. Let's see what is the right answer here. Narasimham Committee 1. Narasimham Committee 1. Everybody knows what is Narasimham Committee, what all recommendations are there. Fine. But what about this question? Okay, so we have exceeded the time. Let's solve the question. Consider the following statement regarding the reforms initiated based on the Narasimham Committee 1 recommendations in 1992. Fine. What are the recommendations? I hope that most of you will be knowing it, and the serious candidates, they must be knowing every recommendation. That is the minimum ask. But this particular question won't be asking you that. The primary thrust of these reforms was to dismantle the existing regulatory framework and fully privatize the banking sector to foster the efficiency and profitability. Okay, mark the keywords. Whenever you are reading a statement, you must be very clear that what is being talked, what is being described in this particular statement. First of all, regulatory framework, whether it was revamped via the recommendations of Narasimham Committee 1 or not. Everybody knows, yes, regulatory framework was revamped. The prudential norms, NPA norms, then we have the capital adequacy norms. All these norms were introduced because of Narasimham Committee 1's recommendation. And fully privatize the banking sector to foster efficiency and profitability. So do you think that fully privatization was the aim, or you can say the recommendation of this committee? Answer is no. not fully privatized was not the recommendation of this particular committee. But yes, regulatory framework was revamped, that is for sure. Now you have to select that which of the following statements will best describe this particular statement which is written here. The statement is entirely accurate, so this is not accurate. Fine, A is wrong. Why? Because we have just seen complete privatization was not at all recommended. So just cross it while you have the first glance over the option A. Second, the statement is partially accurate, which we have just discussed, that is regulatory framework though was there. In that, some deregulation occurred. Deregulation of what? If you know the recommendations of Narasimham Committee 1, deregulation of lending rates, that happened. But it significantly overstates the extent of privatization. Yes, the statement overstates the extent of privatization, as the reforms also focus to strengthen the public sector banks and the overall regulatory framework. Out of these two statements, B is the best answer, or you can say the best explanation for this particular statement which is written here. Right now, I will say B is the right answer. But what about C? The statement is entirely inaccurate. Entirely inaccurate? No. Again, just cross it. Do not even bother to read the entire passage or entire line when you are sitting in the examination. That's how you will save the time. The statement is partially accurate. Now, this again states partially accurate. So, we will read it further. In that, privatization was a key goal. So, do you think privatization was a key goal? But the reforms did not involve any significant deregulation of the banking sector. This is a wrong statement. Deregulation of lending rates was one of the key highlight of this particular committee's recommendation. So, correct answer will be option B. Fine, B is the right answer. Okay, this is the screenshot from the book only, and you can see for yourself these are the recommendations, the key reforms under your Narasimham Committee 1. Capital adequacy norms, progressive reduction of CRR, SLR, deregulation of lending rates, credit delivery, DRT, strong supervisory system, entry of new private banks, but complete privatization where it is written, mergers and amalgamations. Fine. So, I hope that you enjoyed the session. Fine. This was the last question of this particular session. I hope you enjoyed it. Something new you have learned from this particular session. That's the only objective why we bring up such types of sessions. And if you have any doubt, you can just ask me. I'm here live in front of all of you. And for all of you who are watching this in a recorded format, do let me know what are your doubts in the comment section. I'll be addressing to them as well. Okay, so for your reference, one information from my end is that we have launched the Power Pack revision batch, which starts from 25th of April. Now, why I am saying that this particular batch is the perfect fit for our preparation, because the questions which we have discussed just now in this particular session, it's more or less just a trailer. Fine. What we will be going to discuss in this Power Pack revision batch will be much more harder, much more relevant for the examination. So that will give you the final push. If you have already understood the concepts, if you have already jotted down the important points, and you are looking for the final push that now I want to clear this exam with the significant margin, then this is the batch which you should look upon. So it will start from 25th of April, and it's for all the 4 subjects. Specifically for English medium, we have launched this batch as well. Do not miss the chance to revise with full speed and full focus. So initially from 25th April, you will be having the classes of IE IFS. Then as and when the week of 1 week prior to the examination of your PPB and AFM, those classes will begin, and 1 week prior to RBWM, those classes will be starting. You can have a glance, have a look to towards the, you can say, schedule as well. Fine. In the description box, you will find the link of this particular batch. Just click there and see for yourself the schedule and everything. It is mentioned there as well. Okay. So any doubt guys, you can just ask me. Fine. Try to solve such type of questions only, because ultimately these questions will help you to gain the confidence. Yes, Sandeep, I'll be taking up module A and B in bilingual batch. Okay, so any other doubt? Any other doubt? Still, if you have any doubt, you can just ask me in the comment section, and I'll be addressing to all those doubts as soon as possible. Okay. So on that note, goodbye, take care, do try to solve exam relevant questions so that you will be able to qualify this exam on 4th of May. That is the sole agenda of the entire team, and we are focused that all of you will crack this exam. Okay, so goodbye everyone, take care.